Scorpio, it's Romy here. Thank you for joining me on the channel. This is your February 24 soul story. If you've got a sun rising or moon in the sign, you might find this reading resonates for you. We are going to open up this month for you with the energy of the Two of Cups, and things are continuing to surface this month because something is trying to be resolved. February is very layered in its experience, and there is a huge emphasis around our relationships and things coming to light that have repeatedly held us back and been, powerful influences that have shaped really the way that we experience life. And we're going to come to terms with that in a new way. I also have a sense for you this month, Scorpio, that you're going to get some answer around a situation where everything felt like it was aligned. All of the signs were showing the direction that you took, and it felt as though kind of fate intervened and something didn't quite come together or didn't end up being what you'd expected it to be, and kind of left you asking why, maybe even questioning yourself a little bit. The detour that you've taken certainly supported your growth, but it wasn't necessarily, what you had in mind. And there's something about February, I feel, for you that's going to give you some insight and some answers as to why it needed to happen, and either a sense of sort of getting back on track or returning to something and actually having new insight around it, so that this time, the lights are at green, but you maybe have a clearer sense of what you want, or there's something that's like added to that. Okay, so that's going to be quite a powerful sort of theme that I think is playing out through this month. Now, Uranus is very active through February. On the 7th of the month, Venus is trining with the planet, and bringing in some curveballs, some news, information and insights that I think for you should herald some positivity. You might be feeling like, okay, finally, this is good. Not necessarily when you'd expected it to land, and it may even feel like it's been sort of brought forward in some regards, but it also feels like it's opening up more opportunity for you. We also see the growth as we see the two children and then the two adults. It's almost like, something's kind of come full circle, and you're really able to look at a scenario, a situation, a person, a relationship, and see how far you've come with regards to something. The two always reminds us about, coming into union and harmony and partnership with something. And when the sun shows up, we know that we've got growth, and it's positive growth, where we put our energy, intention and devotion through the month of February. We are likely to see and make some real inroads in regards to that. I want to say, don't be scared to start over. You might even like your new story better this month, Scorpio, okay? So we're going to make our way toward the Aquarius new moon on the 9th. It has a pressure point with Uranus, this one. So, we want to do things a little bit differently. We're feeling like we're finally starting to kind of get a sense of the energy of 2024 as we arrive in this month. 8 of Wands says something's already in motion, and almost around that new moon you just want to kind of take it further. You want to start to direct it. So I don't feel like we're coming from a standing start. I think that there's something going on around that time of the month that's already taken off or already in motion, but the conversations that happen around that time feel quite productive. Now, because there's that square with Uranus, you're going to feel compelled perhaps to you yourself throw a bit of a curveball and go like, well, actually I've changed my mind, or I think there's a better way, or this isn't affording me enough oxygen, enough space to breathe. I need to kind of have more freedom in regards to this situation or whatever experience it is that you're going through at that time. There's key foundational change happening for you through the month of February, Scorpio, and that means things that are going on close to home, or how things are affecting what's going on at home, is also being sort of brought up into the light to be addressed. Sometimes things don't necessarily feel reasonable or logical, but it doesn't mean that they're not worth pursuing, because if they drive us forward from the heart place, then again we're more likely to strike up a more significant love affair with the opportunity or the experience that's been set before us. So we've got the Lovers coming in, Two of Cups here, for those of you with firm emphasis around what is going on, what is happening, and how things are developing within your relationships. As I said again, February's got this energy of, you know, giving you an action plan for the healing. It's helping you to take your power back and come into a better dynamic, I think, so that you can acknowledge and have some of the hard conversations, you know, things that may have felt like neither of you, or you especially, were not quite ready to address. And yet something about this month just says, okay, now it feels right, now feels like a good time. There's a sense of intimacy going on here, and I really like that, because I think with intimacy there's an understanding of, you know, what it means to be truly present in an energy. So whatever it is that we are undertaking and embarking upon through the course of this month, when we allow ourselves to sort of get up close and personal with it, then, you know, we have an opportunity to really understand, you know, the experience and how it's changing us, what we feel about it. And so often in life we kind of race through situations and we don't stop to take a breath. So there's something about that intimacy that kind of slows things down. Not in a way that feels cumbersome, far from it, just in a way that sort of helps you to put pause on the fast pace of life and say, you know what, this is worth savouring. And I think there is something about that for you this month, Scorpio. You want to savour some of the experiences and the moments that are coming through, because you understand this is precious, you know, this is never going to be the same, you know, in the way that this has kind of arrived at this exact moment. And I want to feel into this fully. And enabling yourself to do, like giving yourself permission for that, can sometimes feel like a huge feat, because it means, you know, perhaps prioritizing and, you know, really understanding the value of something, perhaps at the cost of other things in your life. Nonetheless, it feels, as we come into this kind of stellium of energy through the mid-month, that that's exactly what is necessary. Now, I do feel when we come into that point, you're also going to have a sense of feeling a bit split in your energy. Either because you feel like you've only so much to give, yeah, someone's asking something of you that you feel a little bit uncomfortable about, could even pertain to, you know, financial situations or setups, but also just if someone's asking from a commitment perspective and you're just not quite there yet, you know, you're not quite on the same page. So there's a reluctance, is what I pick up with that Four of Coins, during that time mid-month. It might be close to home as we're working through that fourth house energy for you in Aquarius season. I will say though that if you know you're celebrating Valentine's, if that's your thing, there's some nice aspects coming in around that time, and certainly this feeling of wanting to do things that are a little bit unorthodox, a bit unconventional. You yourself may feel a bit more open-minded, you know, more curious to explore, to connect, to, you know, be around different sorts of people. And the drive that we have with Mars in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius coming in around that time also helps us with new perspectives on things. And I think that's really necessary, because it's going to create this kind of, it's almost like a new ecosystem is starting to build for you. And I quite like the four as the underpinning, like, as I said, this foundational change that's taking place as well. So for some of you, there'll be this real sense of like the desire to, or the opportunity of like connecting in with new soul families. A lot of things that you're focused upon in work and career and community friendships, it just feels like, oh, I'm really kind of vibing with these people, and actually people that you never thought you necessarily would, or craving the company of different types of people, will certainly be sort of highlighted quite strongly. The split could also come with kind of the tradition versus the new approach, or sort of like old crowd versus new crowd. So you might be kind of feeling like, how do I bring these two worlds together in that regard? But what the most important thing in regards to the month, you know, February for you, is really about kind of understanding the way in which all these different relationships in your life affect you. Yeah, both positively and, you know, not so much, where they create resistance and triggers and opportunities for growth. Because this is where we start to see in the second half of February, you know, the stars aligning and the cosmic conversations coming in to kind of really open up the debate in a more powerful way. So the sun shifts into Pisces making you more sensitive and receptive in that 5th house, heart chakra energy. And on the 22nd with the portal 222, we have Venus conjunct Mars, big relationship issues getting addressed. We have the Tower coming in here, so again, foundational change shifting in quite a major way. Sometimes when we hold on too tight to something, you know, the energy has nowhere to go and it becomes too restricted and restrained, and then it needs to break free. But the break free may also come as a result of having it out, or having the conversation, or, you know, the potential sort of argument or disruption energy that can come as a result of the action that is taken. It doesn't have to be negative, it's just cause and effect. It's just how energy works. You know, if we hold it back at some point, you know, that kind of floodgate opens and it comes through in a more significant way. I also think there's a major epiphany moment. You know, we're struck by things through the month of February with all of this Uranus energy, and the Tower feels like that moment where I'm kind of struck by lightning. And, you know, that could also be something landing for you in regards to healing. The 19th is an exact between the North Node and in Aries and Chiron in Aries, that conjunction giving you an opportunity to sort of heal through a crisis point. And that might be where you like have that moment of like, oh my God, how did I not see this before? How did I not realize this? And then what happens as a result of that? Because then there's perhaps an understanding of then what needs to change, what needs to give. And there's a sort of sense of like, okay, now I'm going to have to make this major move. And I appreciate the disruptiveness of like that happening. Okay, so this is also something that feels like it's being highlighted toward that second part of the month. We then, of course, work our way to the Virgo full moon on the 24th. We've got another pressure point with Venus squaring Jupiter, our sense of value and how that's translated in, you know, everything that is going on around us. Virgo, of course, gets right down to the minutiae detail. So it's going to reveal things to you that kind of fell through the cracks or that were avoided by you previously. Now there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. It's like you will address this. You will look at this because this is about how you move forward and step into your light and in your power in a more consistent way, and that you follow through. And the follow through is something you'll be asking of yourself and others through the course of this month, Scorpio. Okay? And I really like how that Virgo full moon sort of helps to address things in a way that almost gives you a plan. Yeah, even if it's a sort of loose plan, it's like an action plan around the healing and around what you're going to do. And this just feels more constructive for you. It just kind of gives you something that's like a benchmark. It's just like, right, here's where I've been, this is where I'm at, and I know by, you know, the next 6 months or this time next year, you know, if I make these changes, this is where I'll be. And you feel really confident and positive and empowered by that conversation you're having with yourself. Remember, of course, Virgo always highlights at the full moon especially the ways in which our physical body is responding to emotional situations, mental, energetic scenarios that are playing out in our life. So you'll get a clear insight of where the repetitive headaches or back pain or digestive issues or, you know, whatever it is that you may be experiencing from the physicality, and really kind of, you know, have an opportunity to perhaps sit down and reflect with yourself. What are the root cause? These are the symptoms, but where is this coming from? And then maybe addressing that, you know, through certain relationships and connections, you're starting to see patterns coming up more clearly. Again, giving you a roadmap to sort of address something in some regards. You know, I think when you are also seeing something coming back around, like we said, that hadn't worked out previously and now is, there's also an opportunity for you to demonstrate an improved approach or adopt a slightly different position that puts you in a better place to receive. So you're not kind of you're just not repeating you know, mistakes from the past is kind of what I feel. So quite a powerful moon coming in for you around that time as well. So our last 3 cards, Scorpio, we cover in the extended version of this reading. You can find the link in the comment and description box underneath. I talk for another 30 minutes or so. And we'll also address a personal question and a relationship card for you this month. So I do hope you'll join me if the reading is resonating. I'm going to go ahead and just put some clarifiers down and see where we get to in regards to the direction we will take that extended. Got 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands is coming through again. Really important conversation, and I feel like we're able to kind of turn something around, you know. So we might go right to the cliff edge, and then the conversation happens and it's like, okay, we're not going to go down that route, is something that I feel ends up coming through. You know, this is a month where we're reminded that there really is only love, and everything else is our resistance to it. 7 of Wands, 6 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords. A lot of movement in your reading this month. The Moon, 9 of Swords. There's a lot of fear coming through there. Let's pull one more there. 7 of Swords. A little bit of trust issue going on there. 7 of Cups. 8 of Swords. And Woman. Okay. When you've repeatedly been treated a certain way, you know, I think, and then it comes around, and it's something that I think you may have been healing, you know, over a period of months, even years, and you know, you've still got the kind of echoes of that experience moving through your vibration. The way that February is calling us out is like, okay, this happened to you, but then you're also the one that keeps bringing this story back up around over and over again. And so the sort of victim energy that gets activated within all of us as a result of the core wounds that we hold on to is something that's being highlighted with that North Node and Chiron conjunction in a way that should be empowering and help you to move forward. Okay, this is Life Soul Vision, the oracle deck that I have created. You can check this out along with my other sacred titles, ways to work with me, and other things that I have put together to support you on your spiritual journey over on my website, romywiser.com. We've got the Gathering, Spirit Lion, Earth Medicine and Magic cast their spells. We've got the new moon coming in, Throat Energy, Blossoming Soul Song. Okay, finally we're just going to look at the Rose Oracle, so a message for Scorpio for February. Open, say yes, expand through the extremes, trust life. Really like that message for you, Scorpio. Okay, we'll cover this off along with your personal question, your relationship insight, and deeper into your main cards in the extended. I hope you'll join me. You take care, have a great month ahead, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.